Hey y'all, what's up? It's Friday, so I'm gonna keep it black, but I'm gonna keep it brief. We've said it before and we probably gonna have to say it again. The Supreme Court's gotta go. Yeah, we was hyped to finally get a black lady on the court, but it gives sisters in there windmilling by her damn against a court stacked with conservative and miserable motherfuckers. And state Supreme Courts loaded with less notable conservative and miserable motherfuckers who barely allow the cases that need to be seen get a chance to be seen. Because how miserable do you have to be to dismiss a case that would award damages to the remaining survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre? It's only 2 of them. If you don't know, the Tulsa Race Massacre befell the neighborhood of Greenwood, Tulsa in 1921. It's also known as the burning of Black Wall Street, but that's not enough to describe what took place one fateful Memorial Day weekend in 1921. Here's what happened. A 19-year-old black shoe shiner, Dick Rowland, allegedly attacked a 17-year-old white elevator operator by the name of Sarah Page. Shortly after Rowland was arrested, local newspapers began to publish inflammatory articles exaggerating the details of the incident, spreading the word that a lynching may be afoot. Dog whistles for the white people already looking for a problem with the flourishing black neighborhood teeming with black businesses, several black millionaires by today's standards, and hundreds of black middle-class families. However, many of these black residents were also World War I vets. So these self-appointed guardians said, "Not today, Satan," pulled up to the courthouse with a ceiling miss and armed to protect Rowland's right to a fair trial. And of course, they were met with an angry and armed white mob, and shots were fired. Chaos ensued, and for the next 24 hours, the district of Greenwood was effectively demolished. Innocent men, women, and children were slain in the streets, resulting in an unknown number of black deaths. But according to Tulsa's own history museum, in the wake of the violence, 35 city blocks lay charred in ruins, more than 800 people were treated for injuries, and historians now believe that as many as 300 people may have died. Moreover, this all took place on their baby's prom night. Now, justice for this night has been a century-long battle for those 2 remaining survivors, Viola Fletcher and Leslie Benningfield Randall, both 110 and 109 years old, respectively. And y'all ain't even got no respect for your elders? The original lawsuit filed in 2021 claims that the city of Tulsa broke the public nuisance law when it failed to respond to the Greenwood district of Tulsa in its time of need. And on top of that, the city is now profiting off of the tragedy by positioning the area as a tourist destination in the city. What? The lawsuit was also originally filed with Viola's little brother, Hughes Van Ellis, but he passed last year at the age of 102. Now, it's all already terrible, but get this. The case was first dismissed by an Oklahoma district court judge on the basis that simply being connected to a historical event does not provide a person with unlimited rights to seek compensation. So what does? And I'm not asking for unlimited rights, I'm asking for my rights. Like, what does unlimited rights even mean? Do you mean that black people shouldn't have the audacity to access the full realizations of their rights? Because that's what it sounds like to me, sister. Anyway, this is where it gets a little granular, but follow me. A dismissal from a district court judge means you can never file again in the state district court, which is why they then went to appeal to the Oklahoma Supreme Court. But yesterday, the Oklahoma Supreme Court said with respect to the public nuisance claim, that the plaintiff's grievances are legitimate, they do not fall within the scope of our state's public nuisance statute. And this is what I mean. The current structures do not serve us. Could they be absolutely correct in saying that this claim falls outside the public nuisance statute? No shit, Sherlock. It happened 100 years ago. But it took 100 years for these individuals, systems, structures, and the community surrounding them to evolve enough to bring the case to court. And saying that being connected to a historical event doesn't give a person right to seek compensation this is a policy-ass way of saying we would never in our lives give all of you N-words reparations. Because hold on now, Japanese Americans got reparations for them internment camps, 120,000 of them to be exact, about 45 years after the fact. Indigenous people even got something. A slap in the face, sure, because it only amounted to about $1,000 per person, but in 1946, Congress awarded about $1.3 billion to 176 tribes and bands. The men violated in the Tuskegee syphilis experiments got about $10 million, among other things. And on the topic of city massacres specifically, Rosewood survivors got $2.1 million, and Chicago gave $5.5 million to victims of police brutality in the 1970s and 80s. But the most infamous of all, y'all want to be stingy? And these women are 100 plus. They literally only have so much fight left in them, but still, they're not playing. Last year, Viola and Hughes gave testimony for a House committee considering their reparations. And Viola said she still sees black men being shot, black bodies lying in the streets, still smells smoke and sees fire, still sees black businesses being burned, still hears airplanes flying overhead, and that she still hears the screams. And she's not even talking about the consistency of these acts over the 100 years since the massacre. She's still talking about the night of. My God, today. Ellis said because of the massacre, his family was driven from their home. They were left with nothing, and they were made refugees in their own country. They were shown that not all men are created equal under law, that when black voices call out for justice, no one cared, that he himself fought for freedom abroad, even though it was ripped away from him at home. We cannot make this shit up unless we forget all of this over a claim that we know to be a lie, that a black boy brought harm to a white girl. And one of the highest courts of the land is gonna let that slide. But did you know that you could vote for them too? I know. Lene, my vote don't matter. Shut the fuck up. Yes, it do. With all the slimy and sneaky ass voter suppression laws being passed, they see you becoming more and more aware of your power, and they are trying to take it away from you. I promise they would not go through these things to take it if it was not that effective. Supreme Court justices are either elected or appointed by a governor depending on what state you're in, and it's about a 50-50 split. So you can either vote for them directly, or you can vote for a progressive governor that will make an appointment in the interest of the people. State Supreme Courts are just as important to think about as your president, because they are the ones who have the power to determine what your state does in the wake of all of these big decisions. Like the reversal of Roe v. Wade, the threats to affirmative action, and the few civil rights court decisions you did learn about in grade school. In order for the world to be a better place, there's got to be good people in high places, so what are you going to do to ensure that they get there?